Three, two, one. Welcome back to the Comic Book Bullies. We're Nerd is the New Bully. I'm your host, Leroy, aka the man who walks, with my co-host.
This is Eli, aka the Casey Jones cupcake.
That'll work. And let me take this shit off my head. I was only doing this for a thumbnail. That's it. Okay. Oh shit. Okay. So yeah, we're back with another episode, and Eli, guess what? This may be the last week we do this crazy retro type shit, whatever. Or may not, because
yeah, I was actually having fun with that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun.
Like,
we got a chance to review and actually do like better books than what we've been doing before, because now that this is done, now we're back to Snowflake and Snape safe space. So for those that,
I mean, I was catching up on books I haven't read before, and just going through shit I haven't read yet.
It was a
And
walk down memory lane. Yeah. So this thing, for the last, I guess, 7 or 8 weeks, the comic industry has been completely at a standstill. It's been on hold. There's been no new books coming out, no digital, no physical, nothing like that. However, Diamond has finally got this shit together, or so they say. And apparently next week, or this Wednesday, they're going to start releasing new books again. So if that's the case, then I guess we're back to business as usual. We'll see. We may say fuck it if it's some bullshit books. We might just go back to what we were doing before. But, until they get into the swing of things. But we'll see how it goes. Right now, we've been having fun,
Yeah, like I was like, damn, do I have to buy shitty books again? Go back to buying shit?
Right, that's the thing, because we haven't been buying shit. Even the books we've been reviewing, we haven't been buying them.
Yeah.
They've been on Comixology. We just been downloading DC Universe. We just been downloading them. And we haven't spent a dime on anything yet other than the subscription fee we've already been paying. So
I got a stack of shit that I haven't read that's been building up for years. I'm like, I haven't read this yet. And, take this to the shitter with me.
Right, just knock it out and that's it. I mean, because there's so many books down the road we can just do stuff. I mean, we could have did Aquaman, anything, but we'll see where it goes with that. But anyway, glad you're back in another episode. We got a really fun for you. This is the one that I've been wanting to do since we started this shit, because nobody else has done this particular one that we're going to review today. But before we jump into it, we're going to jump into the house cleaning stuff that we always get into. So, Eli, I guess we got to talk about a death or deaths that happened this week.
Oh yeah, some deaths.
And the first one we're going to talk about is Fred Williard. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Fred Williard is that guy that you see in every movie.
Yeah.
You know him when you see him. He passed, I guess he was like 80, 90, something like that.
Yeah, it wasn't from COVID. It was from natural causes.
I mean, he had a run. He had a good run.
Yeah.
So, I could go down and name in all the movies that he named, but it's been so many movies. You know him when you see him.
The only one I can think of is Wall-E. He was like the only live person in Wall-E.
Yeah, they're saying he's the only live action person in any Pixar movie. TV shows, he's been like in 1,000 TV shows. So
yeah.
Even actually it's the 70s, because they've been showing like old clips of him, and he was like young, mullet, porn star mustache, all that shit. Yeah, so rest in peace to Fred Williard. And also, this was a shocker also, rest in peace to Jerry Stiller. Is that right? Yeah, Jerry Stiller. You know who Jerry Stiller is. That's not only Ben Stiller's dad, but he was also George Costanza's dad on Seinfeld, and he was also on The King of Queens also, playing the father-in-law on that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever watched it, but whatever.
It was okay. The wife was hot.
Was he in Toy Story? The Potato Head or whatever? Is that
maybe? Him? I'm not well versed in Toy Story.
Oh.
To be honest. After the third made me cry, I just stopped watching them. So rest in peace to Jerry Stiller. I guess we can move on from there. I guess, what else we got to talk about before we jump into it? I know it's some other stuff. What am I missing?
You got, Tony Hawk and all that shit.
Man, that's the video game shit. We can talk about that. I guess there is no video game shit to talk about.
I saw It Man. Should I give
there you go. Review? We finally got a movie review. That's the thing.
Yeah. It was released on Christmas this past Christmas. I didn't get a chance to see it in the theater, but it showed up on demand, and I rented it. And I mean, I like the whole series. I love all the Ip Man movies. I love kung fu flicks, and I was looking forward to this one. but I was a little disappointed because Bruce Lee wasn't in it that much.
Okay. Was he in any of the
Uh,
other ones?
he had a little bit, like, there's a little kid Bruce Lee in one of them,
Mm-hmm.
and then the next movie he's like grown up and says, I want to be your student, because Ip Man is about the guy who he was the guy who taught Bruce Lee.
Right.
um, and he's like a folk hero, and
And
it
they
just
have
kind
real
of go
life
all.
pictures together and stuff, you know.
Yeah, and each movie goes through different stages of his life. This one was called the finale, I believe, and it was when he goes to America. And the synopsis was he goes to America and meets up with Bruce Lee and helps him open up schools in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking, oh, cool, it's Ip Man, Bruce Lee team up. So that's what I was thinking.
Right.
But there was only like one fight scene with Bruce Lee, and it's
Yeah.
more about
It wasn't gonna be a
it's
buddy
more
cop movie. Just
yeah, it's more about them kind of fighting racism, the Chinese immigrants. It's got this whole theme of immigration. It was totally about, immigration and what immigrants have done for this country, and that whole theme. Yeah, a lot of um, basically battling white supremacy. The one Ip Man's one student is a Marine, and he's trying to teach Ip Man style to the Marines, but they're like, no, only karate works. So there's that whole theme of Chinese nationalism, pro Chinese nationalism,
gotcha.
which I guess created a bunch of controversy that I did not know about it until like the day after I watched it. I guess the Hong Kong protests that were going on last year, I
With
guess
Mulan and stuff with the police.
with the Milan and the police and all
Yeah.
that, I guess they boycotted this movie too,
Wow.
because Donnie Yen and some of the actors and the producer had like a pro-China government stance.
Okay, so that's what I don't
So
get. Why are so many actors having pro-government stances? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. I'm not too well versed in
I
Chinese
guess not.
politics.
It'd be like
I
the
do
exact
know.
opposite of over here if every actor was a Trump supporter. I guess I don't know.
I guess, yeah, I guess. And from what I do know, Hong Kong was its own state for many years.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 97, because it was under British rule. So Hong Kong, the island, the city of Hong Kong was its own, like Washington, D.C. It was like its own state. And it was under British rule until 1997. And then it went back under China rule. And that's why a bunch of like Asian in the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, all like Jackie Chan, Jet Li, Wu Ping, they all came over to John Woo, all came over to Cali, all came over to Hollywood and started making movies here because the laws changed, the censorship laws changed and shit. So that's about my extent of it. I know that the protests were about some sort of like had something to do with like the FBI uh, being able to search through your private information, or it was something like that. That's what they were protesting about. But anyways, Ip Man came out, and all the stars and were like pro China government, so they boycotted this movie. They boycotted it so much that Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker beat it at the box office in China.
Wow.
Now, for
For
those who
show
don't
you,
know, yeah, for those who don't know, Star Wars don't mean shit in China.
they don't
China
have the
does not
nostalgia
give a
factor.
Yeah, China does not give a shit about Star Wars movies. All Star Wars movies pretty much bomb in
Plus, they
China.
said when they watch, they don't even know what's going on in the Star Wars movies. Like they're completely
Yeah.
lost.
So yeah, they boycotted this movie, Ip Man, the new Ip Man movie, which has been highly successful, for the past 10 years. It's like 4 movies now. This is the 4th movie, but they boycotted it where Star Wars beat it. So I thought that was kind of funny. But other than that, it's still got really cool fight scenes. And there is Bruce Lee is in this one. He does have a fight scene. It is pretty cool. He's got nunchucks and shit. But yeah, I think maybe the first 2 are my favorites. I think out of the series,
Was it
especially the
Mike
second.
Tyson in part 3?
Mike Tyson was in part 3. Yeah, he was in the last one
Yeah.
where he plays the mob boss, buying up all the realty and tried to buy the school, and then he has the one like 3 minutes. He challenges Ip Man to 3 minutes with him in a ring.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a callback to the first round knockouts that Tyson was always knocking everybody out in. You could last 3 minutes with me, and they have a fight between Ip Man versus Mike Tyson. But yeah, I like the second one a lot too because that one had Sammo Hung, and that was like pretty much like Rocky IV, where Sammo Hung dies in a boxing ring. He gets killed by a boxer, American boxer. That was another one about American boxing versus Wing Chun.
Right, because the first one had that big Japan versus China, friction that was going on there, which was real life around that time. So back in World War II.
It was pretty much Fist of Fury, a call back to Fist of Fury.
Pretty much, yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed all these movies. I didn't know that it was so controversial, but it was still, it was still a pretty cool. And yes, spoilers, he does die at the end because he ends up dying. And this takes place.
They can still make the movies. I mean, Ip Man 5, just go back before the end.
There's a TV series, I guess, going on right now in China with him. I guess there's spin-off movies with characters. Master Z, who was a character in one of the movies, I guess he has his own movies now. But yeah, so yeah, I enjoyed it. Still pretty cool.
I mean, what real life, character gets, 4 movies? Johnny Cash didn't get 4 movies, a trilogy, yeah, good shit. Another thing I want to talk about, the CW. Your favorite topic, Eli.
Okay.
Because now they've released their fall schedule. They released their fall schedule and the 2021 schedule also. So all of their new shows that they have right now, like Flash, Legends, blah, 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 whatever like that, Batwoman, Supergirl, all of that has been pushed back. So none of that is coming out this fall. All of those shows are going to be brand new and pick up in 2021 in January. And it's weird because they've all going through their season finales right now this week. Like Flash was just in the middle of an arc and just stopped. Season finale, that's it.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on.
Yeah, some chick, he fought some chick that bounced around the mirrors. He got hurt. That's it. So we won't know what happens until 2021. What happens with that? They're just done. And so what they're doing is that since all these shows have been pushed back to 2021, so what they're going to do in fall 2020. So they decided to pick up some shows. Supernatural is going to wrap up its season in the fall. So Supernatural is done, Ben. But here's the interesting thing that caught my attention. One of the fall scheduled shows is going to be Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But keep in mind, this is not renewing Swamp Thing. This is not season 2 of Swamp Thing. There is not going to be a season 2 of Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing is dead. Dead in the water. It's done. They've destroyed the sets. They destroyed the costume. All the actors have moved on to other shit. So it's done. There is no Swamp Thing season 2 because they can't afford to remake all this shit anyway. So what they're going to do is that the same shows that we saw in DC Universe that we paid to see, you all get to see for free. So have fun.
But probably without all the gore and shit.
That's what I'm wondering because, like I said, DC Swamp Thing on DC Universe is pretty hardcore. I mean, they dropping like F-bombs on there. It was pretty gory.
Yeah. Motherfuckers are getting ripped apart and shit.
Yeah, you can't get away with that on the CW. Like, and now for Archie for Riverdale, it doesn't work like that. So it's got to be censored. There's no way it can't be censored.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm thinking from that one. So, but you know what? It's bittersweet. I'm mad that I had to pay money to see that stuff. Why everybody's getting it for free, but at the same time, it's such a good show. I'm glad people get to watch it because it's not your typical CW show, which I'm wondering how it's going to work. And it's not just that; it's actually like all the stuff that DC Universe has been pumping out is going.
I heard I heard like Harley Quinn's going to be on like Sci-Fi and shit.
Yeah, well, season 1, so I don't think season 2, but season 1 definitely going to be on Sci-Fi. So Harley Quinn's going to be on Sci-Fi. Doom Patrol is going to be on HBO Max. Like I said, Stargirl comes out next week, and that's going to be both on CW and DC Universe. So basically, DC Universe doesn't have anything original just to itself.
So it's just a comic app.
Like that's the selling feature. I love bringing it up in arguments. Why am I paying for DC Universe when all the shows they got comics? I don't give a fuck about that. So it's just wasted time for that. It's weird because people keep comparing DC Universe to Disney Plus. That's not a fair or accurate, comparison. DC Universe is closer to Marvel Universe, which thing nobody ever heard of, other than us.
Yeah.
You know,
it was Marvel Universe with movies.
right? I
Or
mean,
Marvel Unlimited with movies.
yeah, because I mean, DC Universe, I mean, like their comic app is damn near already almost caught up with as many books that Marvel has on there right now, and they've only been out for over a year. Meanwhile, you get to watch Batman animated series, Justice League, you know, even just the cartoons you've seen over before. I'm fine with that. If you give me Batman animated series, I can watch it anytime I feel like it in HD. I'm good. But people care nothing about that. They want to know where's the new shit. You know, where's the Green Lantern show? Why can't I get that? You know, where's the Justice League Dark movie and things like that? You know, that's what they want. You know, can't please everybody. But Eli, the fact that all the shows are going away, and even the shows that we have seen, I'm seeing shows that we were watching and movies that were on there, they're disappearing. You know, The Dark Knight was on there one time, disappeared. A lot of those DC, like you would think that all those DC animated movies they had, like Bad Blood and Batman versus Robin, you think they'd be on there? They're not. Or they'll be on there for a while and then disappear.
Yeah. I remember looking on there one time, like, why the fuck isn't this on here?
Right. So it's just weird shit. And then you look at the list, like people aren't even asking for like the world, and they're asking for like simple stuff. Okay, remember that show Powerless?
Oh yeah,
with Vanessa Hudgens, and it was on NBC about basically like a damage control ripoff. We were like, okay, why can't we get that show? Like something simple, you know, or Beware the Batman, a CGI show. We're not asking for the world. We're not asking you to reinvent the wheel. Give us some shit that Catwoman. Fuck it, put Halle Berry's Catwoman on there. You know, give us something. You know, we don't watch bad movies every now and then, but we get none of that shit on there. So I mean, I don't want the app to go away. I want the app to stay still. They may keep it going. They may treat it like a comic book app, and I think they just need to just re-advertise it again. That's all. Like they're pumping up to be like this. You're getting the shows, but advertise more on the comic side. Make it comparable to Marvel Unlimited and Comixology Unlimited, and at least it'll find its audience. That's all. It's not going to be Disney Plus. It's not going to be HBO Max. It wasn't designed to be those apps. So that's my thing. Can move to the video game section now.
Sure.
Okay, we got some good shit going on right now, Eli. Remember I told you Evo was dead last week, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you had forgotten. Like in one ear out the other. Okay. So
that's why I was surprised to see it pop up on the topics.
Right, because Evo is not dead. Okay, so technically it's dead in physical form, but it lives on in the digital. So Evo has decided to switch gears, and now it's going to be a strictly online tournament, which is weird. Because, like I said, a lot of these guys are trained like in person, so now they got to train online. And the fact is, a lot of these games online mode sucks. Like, okay, the biggest selling fighting game out right now, quote in quotations, is Smash Brothers. Smash Brothers online mode is ass. So they completely cut it from this online Evo match. So no Smash Brothers in there. Some people say it's a conspiracy. They're just trying to do that shit to get Smash Brothers out of Evo altogether, which, hey, I have no problem with that. Mortal Kombat is back because it has good net code, Killer Instinct. All these games that they can rely on are going to be there, but it's going to be weird. Are people going to cheat? You know, how will they know? What kind of, are they going to have a weird controller they're playing with it? How can you stop these things? You know? We don't know, so it's just a weird mode to go with. Also, let's talk about Grand Theft Auto 5. Eli just bought it tonight.
Okay.
For free. But it's on the Epic Store, so I bought it on PC again. I already have it on PC for one platform, which is Steam. I bought it again for a platform which is Epic Store. But here's the thing: not only did I buy it for free, they gave me $10 credits to get another game. So anybody that's right now, download the Epic. Basically, if you play Fortnite on PC, you have the Epic Store. So download Grand Theft Auto 5, get the game, boom, you're in there. Matter of fact, I think I have Grand Theft Auto on 3 different platforms on PC for free. I think I got on whatever. And also Tony Hawk. Tony Hawk is back. They're remaking Pro Skater 1, Pro Skater 2. Eli, did you ever play those games?
Oh yeah.
Stupid fun, super fun. So love those. I don't know what it's gonna be like because I think the last one kind of sucked, but you know, Hey, remakes are the thing right now.
Underground was the last one I played, and that you can like make your own character. I was like a skull zombie with a mohawk and shit, and unlocking all the moves, and yeah, those were fun. You could
Okay,
do your own soundtrack. You can, you know, program your own soundtrack and listen to your own music and shit.
okay. I guess it sounds good. Yeah. What else we got on there? I think that's pretty much it. PS5 dropped the new tech demo that's supposed to be out, so I thought that's pretty cool. They changed the name from the Sony Interactive Entertainment Store to PlayStation Studios, and they say the games might come to PC. So that's cool. What else we got? Last thing before we move on, back even though we should have said this earlier with the other stuff, we got the video game section. We got to talk about New Mutants.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
sure.
New Mutants has changed their date again.
Again.
Okay, so they said for real this time. That's the tagline, for real. So it's coming out in August 28th. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, we were making jokes on the Geek Sabs the other night that New Mutants on Indian time.
Oh man, so it's just some weird shit going on. Like, why are you doing this again? So, all right, New Mutants coming out August 28th. But here's the thing: theaters are in trouble right now because people are scared to go back to the theaters. So there's gonna be apparently the first movie supposed to come back to the theater, like the next big budget movie supposed to come to the theaters, is that Christopher Nolan movie. You know, Tenet, starring Robert Pattinson, aka Batman, who don't want to work out. So I guess we're gonna call him Fat Man, Glad Man, whatever. I'm so glad nerds get pissed off at him. Everything he says, he pisses off nerds. I love that shit. Him and John David Washington, aka who I like to call Baby Denzel's son. So they're starring in the movie, Christopher Nolan movie, and they're saying if this movie doesn't like hit big or blow the doors off, they might not see movie theaters do anything for like the next year, 2021. Because
even in China, like they when China first opened back up, nobody went and saw movies for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them were empty. I mean, that actually interests me. I'll go to a movie theater with nobody in it.
Just your luck, somebody comes in, sits right next to you, and start coughing.
Yeah, what the fuck, man?
Now you're gonna whoop somebody's ass in the movie theater. It's gonna be all over the news. So.
And no one will be there to see it.
Right. If nobody was there to whoop his ass, did he really get his ass whooped?
Schrodinger's beat down.
Right. Oh yeah. Okay, so let's jump into this bad boy. Let's get into it. We filibustered and flubbed around long enough. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna talk about a book that I've been wanting to talk about for a while that nobody on the internet has talked about, which almost I'm thinking people are scared to talk about it, which is weird. It's Black Panther. Now.
Okay.
Yeah, you think people are scared to talk about Black Panther? Really? What? Yeah. Okay, let me paint the picture. Now, yes, Black Panther is the bee's knees and all the stuff like that. And yes, he is on regular TV right now. Eli saw the movie tonight. I was trying to record. He's like, no, let me watch Black Panther again. Like, viewed it, but okay. So we are not talking about the Black Panther movie tonight. So before you think like, oh, yes, I've seen this movie before, we're not talking about that. What we're going to talk about is to go back to the almost like the roots of where this started. Not Stanley, not 1966.
Yeah.
Let's go back too far.
I always forget how old this book is. Yeah.
Yeah, the book we're doing. Okay, so Stan Lee made Black Panther back in 1966. He was a big deal. Joined Avengers, blah, blah, whatever. Became a D-list, C-list hero that nobody ever wanted to touch. So for like 20 years, he was just there in the background. Didn't do anything. Until a writer named Christopher Priest popped up. Christopher Priest is a black writer. He's actually the first black writer for any major mainstream comic company, for DC or for Marvel, back in like 1983. So at the time, he was actually doing like Valiant. He was writing Valiant. He was doing Quantum and Woolly. He was doing like comedy books and stuff like that. This is back in the 90s. It's back in 1998 when the comic industry was even worse than what they are now, or just as bad. I don't think you get much worse than what you are now.
Yeah, late 90s, it was,
pretty rough.
Yeah.
So what they did, a new guy was in charge, Joe Quesada and Jimmy Palomino, Monty? Whatever his name is. Okay,
Sure.
So those guys. they're in charge of Marvel Universe right now, and they're in charge to like completely revamp Marvel because everything they've done before, that Age of Apocalypse and all that bullshit, went out the window, didn't sell. So they decided to revamp Marvel altogether and decided to make a whole new line called Marvel Knights, where they take all their street level heroes and they take off the comics code, take out the censorship, and just let them go. Do whatever the fuck you want to do. That's birth where Daredevil came from. Well, not Daredevil came from, but like they gave Daredevil a Marvel Knights run. Punisher had a run. I think
Punisher.
wasn't that the Garth Ennis run, the Marvel Knights?
Garth Ennis, Steve Dillon. Yep.
So that was all that. Jessica Jones was born from there. So the
Yeah.
first Jessica Jones
Ghost
first popped up
Rider,
there.
yeah.
Yeah. Ghost Rider. I think Luke Cage had one also. So all their street level heroes started to, get prominent. So like we've done X-Men, we've done Avengers, all like that. Let's give these guys a chance to spotlight. So they brought Christopher Priest over from Valiant over to Marvel, and they were like, "We're gonna give you a book." And he's thinking he's coming to write Daredevil. He's like, "Oh, you got street level heroes? Give me Daredevil. Give me Punisher." And they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna give you Black Panther." He was like, "What the fuck?" Now remember, this is back in 1998 when Black Panther was like a D-list, F-list hero, and he was actually like, according to like the notes I've read and Christopher Priest notes, he was actually insulted that they gave him Black Panther. He was like, "First off, you're gonna give me a black superhero that won't last 5 issues. Nobody buys books with black heroes in them." He was like, "No, that's cool, but we're going to put a spin on it. We're going to do a different take. You seen Coming to America? We're going to do a Black Panther Coming to America version." I'm like, huh? Okay, it doesn't make any sense. So he went home, started revamping it, started thinking some things, trying to do a Black Panther meets Coming to America, made the pitch, and that's this book. That is the start of this run where Priestley reinvents or revamps Black Panther, which you know before. Like I said, he was back around the 60s, but a lot of the stuff that we know that's associated with Black Panther didn't get invented until this book. So really, this is really, if you want to know something about Black Panther, this is almost really the first book you need to know about it, because from here, it pretty much writes the blueprint, and then other writers just take off from there.
Yeah, the Dora Milaje, wasn't that him too?
That was him also. A lot of writers, K. Everett Ross, that was all him. So let's just go ahead and start off with what the book is. So the book starts off, it doesn't even start off with T'Challa. The first person you see in the book is K. Everett Ross. Or Everett K. Ross, that's his name. You know the guy that was the Hobbit dude from the movies or whatever? So here's the thing. This entire run Christopher Priest wrote, Black Panther is not the star of the book, or even the narrator of the book. Everett K. Ross is the narrator and star, a main character in the book. Everything is told from his perspective. He's watching T'Challa do all this crazy ass bullshit, and he's just saying what he's doing, how awesome he is, what happened, all stuff like that. So we see Everett K. Ross in a broken down motel, an apartment building, standing over a toilet with no pants, holding a gun, aiming at a giant rat. Now, when I mean giant rat, like a New York rat or whatever, not a mutant, whatever like that. Why does he have no pants? Why does he have a gun? Why is he in an apartment by himself? That's later on, because here's the thing. Everett K. Ross tells this story out of order because that's how Christopher Priest wants to tell the story. This book actually takes a lot from a lot of 90s stuff. Like Christopher Priest was watching a lot of 90s movies around time. He was watching Pulp Fiction. So this book is told all out of order because that's how Pulp Fiction was. Who's like, I'm gonna make Pulp Fiction. And it's also, I forgot to tell you the main bad guy of the story. I might tell you the main bad guy of the story. This is Black Panther versus Mephisto, the devil. So you can also say this book is also borrowing from The Devil's Advocate, which was also popular back in the 90s. So, yeah. So this book is actually collected in one of those Mephisto stories also, which is, they say this is one of the best Mephisto stories of all time. But anyway, let's get back to what we were talking about before. Everett K. Ross has no pants on. He's in the building. It's just him and Zuri. Zuri is not Morgan Freeman. I'm fucking up.
Forrest Whitaker.
Forrest Whitaker. I'm gonna catch hell for that. He was Forrest Whitaker in the movie, but he is not Forrest. He's not a Forrest Whitaker looking type character in this one. He was basically, if Terry Crews had dreads, old gray dreads. That's basically what he should have been. Like a pro wrestler or something. And he keeps saying, my client left me. Where's my client? He just jumped out the window and went somewhere. And who is the client? The client is T'Challa. T'Challa is his client. And we'll talk about how he came to be there. So Now we get a picture of T'Challa, and he's not in his Black Panther habit. He is in a three-piece suit, all black suit with shades on at nighttime, and draped on his each shoulder, on his left shoulder, two supermodel-looking chicks. One chick looks like Naomi Campbell. The other chick looks like Tyra Banks. Now, the names of these chicks is Okoye and Nakia. Yes, you know them from the movie. And they are known as the Dora Milaje. So this is the very first time the Dora Milaje has ever popped up. Eli, did you get the visual, all that?
I did, man.
Cool.
Put it back up.
We are
I'd rather look at that.
We have upped our budget. It took us a while, but we got there. Okay. Anyway, so this is the Dora Milaje. Now, I think I need to go into detail about what the Dora Milaje is, because the movie brings it up, but they don't really say where it came from. So, the Dora Milaje in Kosa or Wakandan, or whatever you want to call it, is translated to the adored ones. And the Dora Milaje are basically really supposed to be his concubines or harem. That's what they are. What they're supposed to be is that, okay, Black Panther or the Black Panther of Wakanda is the king. He's supposed to pick his wife from the Dora Milaje. The Dora Milaje is supposed to be a whole bunch of them. He's supposed to just grab one out of them, marry them, boom, that's it. So he's supposed to pick his wife out of one of these. T'Challa, on the other hand, doesn't want to do that. But he has to honor tradition because there's so many tribes in Wakanda, they give them their best girl out of these tribes to, basically give him wife material. So they give him the most beautiful, looking chick to give him. And if he turns them down, it's going to piss them off. Exactly. She's your queen to be. So he has to accept it because of tradition. Because if he turns down and says, I don't want your girl, your daughter, they're going to be pissed off and it's going to start a war. So he has to do this to keep the peace. So he has the girls with him, and it's not a whole army of Dora Milaje. It's just two chicks. That's it. Two chicks. Nakia and Okoye. That's it. He takes these chicks. They go with him every way he wants. He doesn't touch them. He doesn't do anything with them. Now, other Black Panthers in the past, that's a different story. T'Challa's a nice, upstanding dude. He doesn't touch these chicks. Anyway.
Your royal penis is clean, Your Highness.
Thank you. All right. So they're in New York, just wandering down the street. You got Black Panther, all three suit. He got these supermodel Amazon chicks with him right there. And then this gangster is riding up in his drop top, who's named Manuel Ramos. Just talking complete shit to Black Panther the whole time. T'Challa. He's dressed in a three-piece suit, but he knows he's the Black Panther. He like, hey, ain't you the Black Panther? Don't you carry the Avengers bags or some shit? You a long way from your kingdom, because right here, I'm the king, S.A. You ain't doing shit here. So T'Challa just walks up to him, takes out like a amplified stun gun, hits him to the car, shocks everybody in that shit, and then grabs Manuel Ramos and then takes him to the alleyway and tells the Dora Milaje, all right, make sure these guys don't follow me. Make sure you do not kill these guys. Because, like I said, this is not Wakanda. This is in America. They have rules. They just can't just kill people down the street. So the Dora Milaje just beats the shit out of everybody else in the car while T'Challa has some one-on-one time with Manuel Ramos. And he throws him in the alley. Manuel Ramos pulls out a knife. He's like, I'm going to kill you, pussycat man. You're dead. You're fucking around with me. And all T'Challa says is, I'm going to give you one shot. Oh, hold on. Another visual. No. Oh, I missed that. That's one of the way we're beating shit at everybody. Okay. This one. Aha. So this is when he says, take your best shot. I'm going to give you one chance. After that, it's going to be my turn. And then he transforms and the suit just comes on him. Like in the movie, the suit just comes out of nowhere on him. Manuel Ramos stabs him. Doesn't do anything. And that's when T'Challa grabs his head and takes him all the way to the top of a building like 10 seconds. And then he tells him, you work for me now. Takes out an energy dagger, stabs with an energy dagger, and tells him it's not going to kill you because I set it for stun. So it's going to just hurt the shit out your ass. But I marked you, so anywhere you go, you belong to me now. You're going to tell me exactly what the hell's going on. And T'Challa does this for the rest of the night. He does it with Ramos. He does it with 6 other drug dealers also. Not only does he beats all these drug dealers up, he takes their money, takes it to homeless shelters as unmarked, and steals all the weapons. So when he steals all the weapons, not that. You got the Dora Milaje just walking around with just guns and shit for the rest of the book. So that's how that happens. So why is he here? What's going on there? Let's backtrack. Let's back all this stuff up to begin with. Because like I said, this whole story is told out of order. So the beginning of the book pretty much starts off with the reason T'Challa's here in America to begin with, because he started a foundation in Brooklyn in a lower neighborhood in Harlem, not Brooklyn, Harlem, called the Tomorrow Fund. He goes called the Tomorrow Fund, where he wanted to give people, low income housing the chance, get their own housing. But it got taken over by drug dealers and the cartel, and the poster child that he took pictures with was killed. So somebody killed a child, and this week, like, I got to go from Wakanda here, and they call the whole scandal Wakanda Gate, because his whole business and organization that he put his name on, his face on, has been defaced. So, but here's the thing: this is all a political ploy. Because, no, I'm gonna get back to that. While we're still going, okay, so like I said, he beats all this shit, all of these drug dealers, shit like that. But while he's doing that, let's go back to Everett K. Ross. Everett K. Ross, the reason he's got assigned to him is because his boss / girlfriend, Nikki Sims, I think her name. I might be fucking the name up, but Nikki. Anyway, Nikki says, I don't have time. I'm busy. I need you to take this case for me and take care of the Black Panther while he's in town. Because he needs a liaison to make sure that, if he gets in any trouble, somebody in the government is watching him. And Everett K. Ross is like, man, whatever. The dude ain't got no powers. He probably go to the Avengers, just order wings or some shit. I don't care, So he's just with him the whole time. But while he's back with no pants, with a gun in his hand, somebody knocks on the door. He opens the door, and it's the devil. Like the devil. Oh, I don't have a picture of it. I didn't get it. Anyway, it's the devil sitting there waiting for him to come out. There we go. So the devil is standing at the door, fire blazing, all this shit like that, and he just sits on the couch, just waiting for him. Zuri, on the other hand, is asleep the entire time through the book. Doesn't notice any of this shit. So while the devil is sitting in T'Challa's apartment with Everett K. Ross, they're beating the shit out of drug dealers, shit like that, getting information, and they actually go to, I think her name was, anyway, the head of the Tomorrow Fund. She was actually like a church lady, didn't do anything. Yeah. She helped run the foundation all of a sudden, and then all of a sudden she got involved with the drug dealers and the gangbangers, and she started money laundering. So T'Challa shows up in the blue while she's asleep, and he's like, all right, I'll need some information. I need a name. I want to find out who did this shit, who's behind this whole thing. And she's just like, I'm not telling you shit. I'm not telling you anything. I don't care who you are. You're like, okay. Ladies, and that's when Dora Milaje comes in. And they start beating the shit out of her because Black Panther didn't hit women. But they have no problem hitting women, so they beat the shit out of her. And she gives all the information up. And she gives the main thing.
They're dressed up as cops, too.
Dressed up as cops, because that's how they sneak in there. Or security, whatever. You're like sexy cops, Yeah, because Mark Teixeira, what is his name? I can't remember. His art is awesome in this. So she gives up the name of the guy that's behind the whole thing. And that guy's name is Akibi. Now, his actual name is Michael Ibn Hajan Akibi. I might be fucking up or whatever like that. But anyway, Akibi is like a main bad guy, like through the entire arc of this entire run that Priest is doing. It's basically his Joker. So where did Akibi come from? Everett Ross, nobody knows where Akibi come from, but Everett Ross said he heard rumors. He heard rumors of a guy that was back in, on the outskirts of Wakanda, back in Africa. He invited a rebel leader into his house that was wounded, nursed him back to health, fed him, clothes, stuff like that. And the rebel leader, to pay him back, stabbed him 32 times and left with his wife. So, meanwhile, like I said, rumored Akibi is supposed to be this guy that got stabbed 32 times, but he didn't want to die. He refused to die, so he made a deal with the devil. And the devil brought him back to life to get revenge on not only that rebel leader, but also his wife. But he doesn't kill either one of them. Instead of killing them, he kills their whole family. He kills their teachers, their neighbors. He kills anybody his wife had contact with. Even the guy that sold her shoes, he kills them. So not only does he kill them, he joins like a rebel nation like that, which starts like this ethnic war, which forces T'Challa to like bring these guys in because he didn't want the ethnic war to get any better. So he actually invites people into the homes of Wakanda, but they bring their war with them, which pisses off Wakanda. So now you have a civil war brewing between Civil War and these outsiders, And plus, the outsiders are fighting against each other, and T'Challa is the only person that can stop it, but even he can't stop it. Because the thing is, T'Challa is such a nice guy that he's a shitty politician. So he's bringing these people in, and he doesn't know how to stop them. And he realized that Akibi set this whole shit up to basically get him out of Wakanda, because now that he's out of Wakanda, Akibi is there to basically have a coup, and take over Wakanda himself. Overthrow the government. So he realized, oh shit, this whole thing is a plan to get me out of Wakanda. So even though I only plan to come here 5 days, I got to get back there. So while he's doing that, she also gives up another name. Another name she gives is I think some Ramsey. Anyway, the child killer, the guy that actually killed the child that was on the face of the Tomorrow Fund. So T'Challa finds him, sets his ass on fire, kicks him out of a window, like a 50-story window, shit like that. But before he lands on the ground, T'Challa actually jumps down and falls faster than he does, catches him, throws him in the trunk, takes him to the girl's mom, who basically says, I should kill you right now, but you know what? My daughter taught me better than that, not to hate. Plus, when they send your ass to jail, they're going to do the job for me anyway. So she kisses Black Panther, and he takes him to like a local police that he met earlier, and that's it. So he knows everything that's going on, but he knows he can't leave yet, because T'Challa, he killed. Okay, so he caught the child killer. He knows he's behind the whole shit, but at the same time, he feels guilty about the whole thing. He knows he's been played. He know because he's been played, he got a child killed. This money laundering scheme has put Wakanda in a bad light. He's about to be overthrown, so he blames himself for the whole thing. And while he blaming himself for the whole thing, that's when Mephisto strikes, because Mephisto, the devil, can attack you whenever you're feeling down, whenever you're feeling, despair or hurt or doubt. That's when he comes for you. So what he does, he starts throwing all these images in his face. He starts throwing all these images of his past and things he did, like the time when his father died, because T'Challa blames his father for dying. There's also an image of T'Challa hugged up with Nikki, Kay Everett Ross's current girlfriend. They're hanging out, all buddy and shit. So that's the whole thing. Anyway, Nikki is T'Challa's ex. They don't say it here. It's in a later book. Spoiler. Also going on, about how he joined the Avenger, how he fought the Fantastic Four, about how his ex, he had an ex named Monica Lynn that he had to break it off with because, Wakandas don't appreciate outsiders, so they had to break it up for that. So he's having not a dream, but an image of the time when they were making out and kiss, stuff like that. Then he wakes up from the image, and instead of kissing Monica Lynn, he's actually kissing Nakia, the Dora Milaje, which he swore he wouldn't touch. But now that he's touched them, that's damn near like, okay, now you're engaged. You belong to me now. So Nakia doesn't realize he was hallucinating or tripping out. She just thinks, oh, he was into me the whole time, and it just proves it. So
he made his choice.
So he's like, stop the car. I got to get the fuck out the car. Okoye, stop it. I got to get some air. So while he's getting out the car, Nakia's just like, see, I told you he loved me. Now I got to have him. And I got to kill any bitch that gets near him. So Nakia becomes a problem later on in the book. But that's not a problem here. While T'Challa is going to Black Panther mode and climbing the wall to kind of get some air to go to the rooftop, he gets ambushed by these other two guys that are dressed like Black Panthers, but in all white, holding guns. And they call themselves the Hatut Zorazi, or I like to call the Dogs of War. And so the Dogs of War are basically getting into a fight with T'Challa. He holds them off. He throws energy daggers at him. He dodges bullets and shit like that. There's 3 more guys down there shooting rocket launchers at him and shit like that. And he barely manages to beat these guys, but he finally beats them. And when he beats him, he grabs one guy is still conscious. He grabs him. He like, where is he? Who sent you? I know who sent you. Tell him when to come out right now. And the guy he's looking for is Hunter, aka the White Wolf. And the White Wolf is basically a white guy in all white who's from Wakanda. He's got a whole backstory. I don't feel like getting into it right now. But anyway, everybody keeps saying Bucky from the MCU is a White Wolf. No, this is the real White Wolf. He's a real guy. He's like an anti-hero or anything like that. That's the White Wolf. So,
but they were mentioned in the movie because I watched it tonight.
Yeah, they were mentioned in the movie, like briefly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's because T'Chaka's brother, Killmonger's dad, was
Yeah.
a dog of war.
Yeah, exactly. He was one of them. He was sent there, but he was radicalized, stuff like that. So the
Yeah.
dogs of war are after T'Challa. He beats the fuck out of them. That's when Hunter pops up because here's the thing: the dogs of war had been in Wakanda forever, but when T'Challa became king of Wakanda, he dismissed them. He got rid of the dogs of war because he knew what they were about: assassinations, torture, murder. He didn't want to be a part of any like black ops, deals that went on behind his business he didn't know about. So, meanwhile, Hunter kept the thing going. The White Wolf is basically sent him all over, but he keeps tabs on what's going on in Wakanda the entire time. So he tells T'Challa, the reason I summoned you, I sent the dogs away after you because I want to get your attention. I gotta have a conversation with you. You got a problem. And he shows him a cell phone. Keep in mind it's 1998. Cell phones don't exist yet. So, not iPhones. They have smartphones in Wakanda already. Hunter throws him a smartphone, the Wakanda phone or whatever like that. Shows him a picture of a Kibi. He like, this guy's gonna be a problem. You already know he did all this bullshit just to get you out of Wakanda. So all I need you to do, T'Challa, is just look the other way and give me the word, and you don't have to worry about this guy again. And T'Challa like, no, I'm not gonna send you down there. I got rid of you guys for a reason. If my father knew everything you were doing, he would have got rid of you a long time ago also. And that's what Hunter tells him. If he knew. There's a lot of stuff T'Chaka didn't know on purpose. And that's why he let me carry the stuff out. And if you were half the man that he was, you would do the same thing. That's why you're in the mess you're in now. But because you're the king's son, I'm going to obey your decision. And T'Challa corrects him like, no, I'm the king. And Hunter's like, oh, yeah, that's what's meant. Okay. But anyway, we know he's not the real bad guy. You know who the real bad guy is. As a matter of fact, what happened to Monica Lynn? His ex-girlfriend, stuff like that. He like, and matter of fact, you have a demon waiting for you back at your house. And you might as well face your demons right now. So basically saying all the demons he have right now. So he knows what's going on. Meanwhile, back at the apartment, Everett K. Ross hanging out with the devil and just having a conversation. He's freaking out. And that's when the devil starts talking to him. He was like, you can be comfortable around me, Kenny. And he kept calling him Kenny because that's his name, Kenny. And the reason he calls him that because Everett Ross, when he was younger, like in his teens, like that, he was a fat kid. He was a fat kid. They got bullied, beaten, beat up by girls, stuff like that. His mom treat him like shit. And so all this stuff started adding up to him. And Mephisto was telling him, you know what? I can't read your mind, but I was there with you the whole time when all this stuff happened. So if you want to get revenge on all the people that did this shit to me, all you got to do is just say the word and give yourself to me, and I'll do it. And Everett K. Ross like, you know what? You understand? Before he can say anything, T'Challa kicks in the door and runs right at him. And K. Ross like, thank you. About time you're here. Should I call the Avengers? And he was like, why? He was like, why? That's the fucking devil. He was like, I don't need the Avengers for him. So T'Challa runs up on the devil and punches the shit out of him. Bam.
I was about to say.
Yeah. Before it's even done, like one punch his ass. One punch. It's over with, just like that. So he punched the devil, knocks him out cold, and Everett K. Ross like, what the fuck just happened? You just punched the devil and knocked him out cold. That's the devil. And before he even talked, T'Challa is on top of him right now. And he takes out his vibrating claws. Now, here's the reason he's able to punch the devil. Because when T'Challa comes, he's known that Akibi had sold his soul to the devil a long time ago. So he know eventually Mephisto was going to pop up and reveal himself. Now, when T'Challa came to America, he didn't just come with the Dora Milaje and Zuri. He came with like 80 other people, Wakandans also. They're all living in that same apartment building with him. But the thing is, these Wakandans actually like Wakandan scientists and priests and all kinds like that have figured out Mephisto's magic. So they've been actually to nullify Mephisto's magic for about 10 seconds. They've been able to cut him off from his magic for about 10 seconds, which is all T'Challa needs. T'Challa need actually like 3 seconds to take this guy out. So after he punches him, stands over him, he rips out the devil's heart and throws it to Everett K. Ross. So the reason he's telling this shit, so now that his heart is ripped out, he's like, okay, your heart has been separated from your body's been separated from hell. You're getting weaker, devil. You're going to die. Now, do you belong to, is Kibi one of your pawns? And did you poison Wakanda? No, he was saying like, so I need you to answer the question. Does Akibi belong to you? And, did you give him Wakanda? He was like, yes, Akibi does belong to me, but I didn't give him Wakanda. You gave him Wakanda, T'Challa, because of the bullshit decisions you've been making. So he was like, so all I need you to do, I'm gonna make a decision, a wager for you. I don't care about Kibi anymore. He's outlived his usefulness. I don't even care about Wakanda anymore. They've used their usefulness. So if you, T'Challa, pledge yourself to me, I'll give Wakanda back to you. You're like, dude, you about to die. I just ripped out your heart, and you're away from hell. You're gonna die anyway, and I don't have to worry about you regardless. You're like, oh, is that right? So then that's when Mephisto teleports Black Panther and Edward K. Ross to hell. So now they're in hell right now. I don't have an image of it like that, but it's actually a pretty cool image. Do I have an image? Nope. Didn't have it. Cool. Doesn't matter.
This one.
Oh yeah.
I think it's oh shit, that's the cover. Oh, here it goes.
Not that one. That one. That's the one. Like this image of hell. Okay, so they're in hell. Matter of fact, they're not actually in hell. They're on like the outskirts of hell. Right before you get to hell. And before they can get there, they actually get ambushed by Akibi. Now, whether it's a demon version of Akibi or the real Kibi come there to fight him, we don't know. Or maybe Mephisto's fighting Kibi, whatever. Anyway, Black Panther beat the shit out of him, and Akibi runs into the gates of hell. But the thing is, if you run to the gates of hell, they say you eliminate all hope. So Black Panther didn't actually run through the gates of hell. He actually like jumps over the gates of hell. That way he can like keep his soul while he's in there. And he has a one-on-one with Mephisto. And that's when Mephisto starts really playing his mind games. He was like, no, he hits him with an image. Bam. So when he run through the gates of hell, now he's transported back to Wakanda when he was a kid. And he's given another image when watching his father die again, when Claw killed his father and he shot Claw's hand off, and it was a Wakandan invasion and killed all these Wakanda stuff like that. So he had a flashback of that. So the child is a little kid. He's at a funeral at his father's grave. I mean, his father's funeral again. And T'Challa as a kid just tells everybody, leave us. Everybody leaves. And then he looks at his father's, casket and he's like, all right, what do you want? And his father wakes up and looks at him. He's like, you know what I want, little kitten. I want your soul. And so basically, Mephisto has assumed the identity of T'Chaka. And he's basically telling him, look, I already told you the deal. If you sell me your soul, I'll get rid of Akibi and I'll leave Wakanda alone. And T'Challa like, okay, you want my soul? You can have it. But I want you to take off this disguise as my father. This shit is fucking with me right now. So if I sell you my soul, I want you to get Akibi the fuck out of here. I want you to never touch Wakanda again, and I never want to see you again. He was like, deal. So that's when Mephisto takes his soul. But before he takes his soul, okay, remember you were watching the movie, Eli. Remember the valley between deaths where all the Panther gods was walking around, Panthers and the trees and shit. The
astral plane or whatever.
Astral plane, whatever like that. They go there. They go to that place. Mephisto doesn't even realize they're there. He's like, how the hell we get here? He's like, you weren't paying attention. Okay, you want to have my soul, but here's the thing. I sold my soul to Bass a long time ago when I became a Black Panther. And not only did I sell my soul to Bass, every other Black Panther sold their soul to Bass also. So if you get me, it's a package deal. You get me, you get Bass, you get every Black Panther that ever lived before, you get all of them. He was like, there's no Panther God. There's no such thing as Bass. He's like, yes, there is. You just weren't paying attention. So Mephisto's like, okay, fuck it, that's the deal. So he grabs one of the Panthers walking around, because every Panther that's walking around is actually like a representation of a past Black Panther. So he grabs one. He's like, yes, more, give me more. Kev and Ross outside think they're making a sex tape or some shit. I don't know. He don't know what the fuck's going on. So it's too much power at one time because it's too many Panthers. It's too many souls. And the thing is, Mephisto is still weak because his heart is still back at the apartment back on Earth. So he's not at full strength. So all the Panthers are just flooding at him at one time, giving him too many souls. And he's just like, look, y'all coming at me too much. Y'all coming at me too fast. This is too much input I'm having right now. T'Challa, you need to stop this. Otherwise, if I die, all the Panther guys and Bass going to die with me. T'Challa like, okay, fine, die. He's like, I tell you what, I'll release you from our agreement. Well, it's not going to be that easy. If you release from an agreement, you still got to honor your deal. So let's back this up. T'Challa, Black Panther, went to hell to make the devil sell him his soul. So that's what just happened. So Mephisto canceled the deal, gave T'Challa back his soul, and basically made a deal that he'll never see him again. So he went back to the hotel, the apartment, grabbed his heart, put it back in his heart, and said "fucking mortals," and left. Never see Mephisto
Was it
again.
like wasn't who is it? Wasn't Zuri like eating it and shit?
Yes, because Zuri, it's been 5 issues. Zuri
Yeah,
finally wakes up like, I'm
he
hungry.
wakes up.
Yeah, because Ross didn't know what to do with the heart. He stuck it in the
He put it
refrigerator.
in a he put it in a pickle jar.
Right, he put it in a pickle jar and stuck it in the refrigerator. So Zuri is like, I'm hungry. I need something to eat. He goes into the refrigerator, sees the pickle jar, grabs that, and just start eating the heart, just like, need some hot sauce or whatever, and just keeps eating it. And so that's when Mephisto, when he finally comes back to the apartment, he snatches his heart out of Zuri's hand, half-eaten heart out of Zuri's hand, and just like, I can't stand you mortals, and then just leaves. And so while that's all going on, so now everything's done. T'Challa has caught the child killer. He's found out. He's gotten rid of every drug dealer that corrupted the Tomorrow Fund. He put them all out of business. You know, so his business in America is done. He find out that Akibi is behind the whole thing, so he can go back to Wakanda, beat the shit out of Akibi, and be done with it. But there's a hiccup. He gets on the phone with the Queen Mother back in Wakanda, and she says, "Yeah, so while you were doing all that business fighting the devil and shit like that, so yes, when you beat the devil, Akibi's army did get weaker, but all they did is make it a stalemate. So instead of them beating the shit out of us, it just made a stalemate. So in order to keep the peace in Wakanda, I had to make a deal. So the Queen Mother tells T'Challa, I had to make a deal with Akibi that he shares half Wakanda with me, and we run Wakanda together, only in one condition: you can't come back." Like, what? Yeah, you have to stay in America. You can't come back to Wakanda, because if you come back to Wakanda, it's gonna be all out war. That's the only way we can keep the peace. And T'Challa's like, well, I guess I'm stuck in America for a while. So when we go back to Queen Mother, she cuts off the camera and she turns around. She's smiling, and Akibi is standing right behind her. The end, or to be continued.
Yeah.
So that's the first 5 issues of that book. Lots to digest. What I did want to break down is that all the stuff that happened there for the first time. Because, like I said, I did want to talk about K. Everett Ross for a second. We didn't talk about K. Everett Ross, but if you read the book, the whole book is about him. That's why he was in the movie, because his appearance in the comics is so important. They have to stick him in the movie. So why is he the most? Eli, you tell me, why is Everett K. Ross the most the star of this book? There's a reason. I just want to know if you caught it.
So people will read it. It's about
Yes,
a white
that is
guy.
exactly why. That is exactly why. That is exactly from Christopher Priest why he made Everett K. Ross the star of this book. So white people will read the book.
Yeah, he's the interpreter.
He's interpreter, because basically when, like I said, if let's just call a spade a spade. Let's just say what it is. Comics are written for a specific demographic: white young males. That's what they're made for. So if a white young male, if that's your main target demographic, buys a comic book about a black superhero from Africa, 9 out of 10, they're not gonna buy the book. But if they see the book and it's a white guy narrating the book, it might give the book a fighting chance. So, especially if the whole book is told through his point of view, so they can identify themselves through Everett K. Ross. But here's the thing: Christopher Priest actually, I think, made him played a practical joke on everybody, because he made Everett K. Ross the main character in his book, but he also made him the wimpiest beta male cuck that you ever met in a book before. Like I said, his girlfriend is Black Panther's ex, and he didn't even know this. Every time you turn around, he's doing something that makes himself look like an idiot. Half the time in the book, he didn't even have pants. So Christopher Priest, yes, he's giving you what you want, but at the same time, he's kind of making fun of you at the same time.
Yeah, I got that. I really got the sense that he was totally making fun of white people.
Yeah, but like I said, but if you read the book, you think it's funny, but it's definitely. But if you know that a black guy is writing this book, it kind of comes off like, I don't know,
There's a lot of that. Yeah, there's a lot of that commentary where you can tell he's taking a dig at a lot of things, culturally at the time, comic books at the time, how, commenting that nobody gives a shit about Black Panther. He has no powers. How the hell did you punch the devil out? All that shit.
Right. Which is another thing that I
Don't
like when black writers write Black Panther. Because when black writers write Black Panther, they make Black Panther, like all this prep time Batman does, they take the shit to 11. Like I said, in this book, we have Black Panther punching out the devil, going to hell to make the devil sell him his soul. We don't even talk about the shit that Reggie Hudlin has him doing. Like I said, beating the shit out of Captain America. They had him getting death threats.
Yeah.
Or when Dwayne McDuffie had Black Panther beat the Silver Surfer in a fist fight. The Silver Surfer. So that's the type of shit you see. You don't see that shit, back in the 70s when he was like a D-list, F-list character that had no powers. He was just a guy, a gymnast, But like I said, when anytime a black writer gets him, he just does this outlandish, insane shit. They just like, what the hell, So that's the funny thing about that. And like I said, the Dora Milaje, like I said, the two of them, they were based off Naomi Campbell and Tyra Banks. They said that, also in there. And the whole book is a subversion on Black Panther. They wanted to make Black Panther like a cool character. That's why he didn't show up in the suit to begin with, because I guess they wanted to make him look cool. They make fun of him because they said, "Oh, everybody keeps saying like you need the Avengers. You ain't shit without the Avengers." The Avengers are nowhere in these first 5 issues. Matter of fact, they don't even show up in the book, I think, until like the 9th issue, and they're only there for a reason, so he can quit the team.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like I said, Eli, like I said, this isn't my favorite Black Panther arc I did, but I did want to do this just to, lay the groundwork and lay the blueprint of it. Because like I said, there are better runs we could have done. Reggie Hudlin had some good runs where he teamed up with Luke Cage. Hell, one of my favorite Black Panther writers probably Jonathan Hickman. We could have did one of those books.
Well, I mean, I know, and I remember reading the Reggie Hudlin, that one story that he wanted that to be the movie, and I think that's what he based that animation show off of.
Right. Like I said, he was head of BT at the time, so that's basically he was writing a screenplay, basically.
Yeah, but this one, if you haven't read Black Panther before, this one, Christopher Priest's run, is really. It's not for newbies,
Well, I mean, the thing is, I wouldn't say it's not for newbies of like Marvel. I think it's for newbies who aren't familiar with comics, because, like I said, the story is all over the place. Like I try to tell it as straightforward as I could, but if you read the book,
but it's like it's told in this non-linear structure, but he's also cramming all this origin story into that. Like, he's showing you this whole. He's basically mapping out Wakandan culture and all the royalty. He's making reference to tribal warfare and just the history of Wakanda, and that's a lot to digest, especially just in this 5-issue story, and then to tell it in this non-linear structure. It could be a little convoluted.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, because he was trying to mimic Pulp Fiction. He was definitely trying to. Matter of fact, when Everett K. Ross is driving in his convertible, he's listening to Jungle Boogie, just like they were in Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, and he's making reference. Even she just says, "What are you, Tarantino? Tell me what happened. Go back to the beginning."
Right.
When he's telling her the story. And that's the thing. I think rereading it this time, I was able to digest it a little better, because the first time reading this, I was like, "What the hell?" And I didn't even read the whole run.
Right.
I only made it to like the first 12 issues.
I'll be honest. The run gets a lot better once you get past this. The run gets a lot better because there's a lot of. But you have to read the entire run to get it. That's the thing. Reggie Hudlin was writing a screenplay. Everything he did was a movie pitch. While Christopher Priest was writing a comic. He was writing a serial.
He's building. He's world building.
He was world building. He definitely was world building. Because before the run is over with, M'Baku shows up, Claw shows up. All those guys are here. He fights like Spider-Man Road guy. The very next issue, he fights like Kraven. All this stuff is there. But you have to get through this, because that's the thing. We couldn't review those issues, Eli, because if we just jumped into those without this, it would have been lost.
Yeah, and I'm really seeing the movie was essentially what he was making. All the stuff in the movie is basically in his run.
Mm-hmm.
It was like it was a little blending of Reggie too, but I think mostly this was Christopher Priest. The movie was basically everything Christopher Priest put into
Yeah. Even though
his
Christopher Priest was really more or less, and this issue is really more like a crime drama. Like this is probably the closest crime drama that Black Panther have given, because nobody ever written Black Panther like that before. He's only been in two types of stories, either in Wakanda or with the Avengers. That's it. So
Yeah.
as far as him being in New York, just being like a Daredevil type character or a Luke Cage type character, there's never been done with the character before. Like why nobody ever did that before? Who knows? You know.
Yeah.
And they really show off what kind of technology. It's a lot of what kind of technology that's never been shown before, because, like I said, they had iPhones before iPhones were invented. The
Yeah.
energy dagger, which why the fuck that is not in the movies? That is a cool ass weapon. Black Panther suit being bulletproof. That's actually the first time being a thing in this run. That was never a thing
Yeah.
before.
That sonic audio gun or whatever that Ulysses Claw had.
Mm-hmm.
So that my one thing, my one gripe, I got to say, is when it was in that flashback where Ulysses Claw is fighting T'Chaka back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
and he breaks out that sonic weapon and starts laying waste to everybody.
Yeah.
And there's that. Where is it now? He says, at first Ulysses Claw looked like Custer at the Little Bighorn, but moments later T'Chaka looked like Sitting Bull at Wounded Knee.
I was going to ask you about that because just to get more details about that. Yeah.
Sitting Bull was never at Wounded Knee.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, Sitting Bull was killed in Standing Rock, where Standing Rock is actually.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this.
By tribal police, yeah.
Okay.
By other Indians killed him.
Okay, right. That's what I understand. So, like, is that like a misconception that people get wrong and you're just correcting it, or is it just he just completely just missed the boat on it?
I think he might have thought he was Bigfoot,
Mm-hmm.
Chief Bigfoot, who was killed at Wounded Knee. But yeah, I mean, Sitting Bull had the ghost dancers, all that. Yes, he that led, like, Sitting Bull was killed like 2 weeks before Wounded Knee happened. So this was all a buildup. But yeah, I just like, wait, Sitting Bull wasn't at Wounded Knee. My point being.
Okay. Okay, I'm glad you cleared that up, because I know when I read it, I was like, I need it. Matter of fact, I was going to take notes on the entry about that, but I got to take notes about that. So.
Yeah, but then I do like how they stripped him of Claw's army, and all of a sudden Claw's army looked like the Backstreet Boys surrounded by the Wu-Tang Clan. I thought that was
and their cousins. And that's the thing. So Christopher Priest, and that's the thing about this book, is that it's actually got some humor in it, even though it's a weird type humor. Because Christopher Priest was writing 2 books at this time. Black Panther was one, and the other book was Deadpool. And I think sometimes he got the books kind of confused sometimes, because his Deadpool run is almost like this. Like if you put them, like, you can actually almost like read them side by side. Matter of fact, they even have like a crossover. Like Deadpool and Killmonger fight each other, then realize they're both insane nut jobs and actually become friends. So, like in one of the other books. So, yeah, like I said, this is, I don't know, Eli. I honestly, if you're wanting to jump into Black Panther, I probably still would recommend Reggie Hudlin's run first.
Yeah.
Because Reggie Hudlin run, for the most part, ignores everything Priest did. Like, he pretty much just started from ground up and didn't care what Priest did, or anybody did for that matter. He writes his own story. Yeah. And I think his writing style is easier for people that don't know, that aren't familiar with comics, or their first time jumping a comic. It's easier for their first comic. Where Christopher Priest is writing crime noir, where it's heavy narration, heavy dialogue. Mark Teixeira, whatever his name is, his art is beautiful, but sometimes it's so detailed you can kind of get lost in it sometimes.
Yeah, it can get a little. It's and like, again, I think because I read this digitally, again, both times I've read this digitally, like I have the guided view, so it puts the panels in order for me, and which bubble to read first. You can see each
individual panel, right?
Yeah.
But if you're just looking at just a huge layout, it can be tough to get into something. You know what? I actually read a review, like we did Kingdom Come last week. Some people were saying the same thing about Kingdom Come. Like Alex Ross' art is beautiful, but because it's so detailed and so, that if you just read it like just one panel, it can sometimes be confused. It just didn't jump at you like a regular comic would.
Yeah.
And I feel the same way about this one.
Your eye wanders, and
Right. Where if you just had a traditional comic style art, it would just pop out at you like that, So, like I said, if you wanted to get some real detail about where this whole Black Panther thing started, Christopher Priest was the real thing started. Like I said, Christopher Priest is the first Black writer to get Black Panther. And pretty much after that, they tried to continue the trend of keeping Black writers on Black Panther to kind of continue the trend. Now, not all the time. Like I said, people jump in, and there's some pretty good stories that have been coming out from that also. Here's the thing, like I guess we get to the end of the podcast. Can I mention one thing that I don't like? I mean, just about what has been going on with the character in the 2010s. Now, like I said, we've had Christopher Priest, we have Reggie Hudlin build T'Challa, like rebuild from the ground up. They've turned Wakanda into this, civilization that never been conquered, anything like that. Meanwhile, when they get off of it and you get these no-name writers jumping onto it, like when X-Men versus Avengers and all this other bullshit and Doom War, the first thing they do is want to destroy Wakanda or take Black Panther down a peg or have it conquer or wiped off the planet. I don't like that. That's just me. I don't want to get too political. I'm just saying that rubs me the wrong way. I just like, and that's kind of why Coach got on my nerves also.
Black Panther becomes a black person in a horror movie.
Exactly. Like we just stopped doing that shit, back in 90. Now that's exactly what he turns into, Or he gets his ass beat by some random Joe Schmo like Baron Zemo knocks his ass out and conquers Wakanda by himself. Like, no, that shit not supposed to happen.
Yeah, I see that all the time with like Warpath showing up in the X-Force books or whatever. Right. And he doesn't say anything. He's the first one to get punched and get taken out. And then Wolverine comes and beats everybody up.
Right. But what if a Native American writer wrote X-Men?
Oh yeah.
Warpath would be like, everybody stay home. I have this.
Yeah. Forge, Warpath, Danny Moonstar.
Come on, Galactus. We're gonna beat your ass.
Yeah. Fucking Warpath slap the shit out of Galactus with his dick.
Right. Thanos, bring it. He just stand over like a Squirrel Girl pick. Danny Moon just stand over Thanos, just like that was easy,
Yeah, shit. Fucking yeah. Fuck. Yeah, Danny Moonstar would just like make Thanos see like death and shit, like
right. and that's the thing. That's
make Thanos cry or some shit. Yeah.
And the thing is, I'm trying to make a point with this because I just want everybody to know that these books at the end of the day are power fantasy. They're only power fantasies for people that read the books. Also, power fantasy people that create these books also. So that's the thing. Like I said, you got like I said, when Stan Lee was writing Peter Parker like that, that's a power fantasy for him. That's why he has him doing all this outlandish shit. Or anytime somebody, that's patriotic, get their hands on Captain America and doing all this wild ass crazy shit like beating Hitler and fighting Thanos like that, because it's a power fantasy for them. So anytime a writer gets a book, a writer is going to have a favorite character every time. And they're going to make that character, just do impossible shit. Like anytime somebody get Batman,
Yeah.
So
like Jim Lee and Psylocke,
He loves fucking Psylocke. I think we're the only ones that noticed that shit, Eli. He did it right on the nose and nobody noticed.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right. Yeah, like I said, that's it with the Black Panther book. I hope everybody, was listening, stayed in tune with it. Definitely go back and read it if you get a chance. The trade is out. The trade is called The Client. You can get the whole Ultimate Collection, like the first 17 issues of it. The 17 issues is a complete run also to let you know what happens going on from there. And it's pretty interesting.
Comixology, yeah, I got the whole complete run on Comixology.
Yeah, and the thing is, when you get deeper into the Christopher Priest Black Panther run, now people always make fun of Black Panther that they call him the Black Batman. Oh, he's just Batman, but from Africa. The thing is, Christopher Priest actually leans into that because, like I said, Akibi is the Joker, and he becomes basically really like the Joker the further the book goes into it. Like. It's no different. Chris Reed even tells a future story like The Dark Knight Returns, where T'Challa comes back, and when he comes back, Akibi wakes up or some shit. Like it's really Ross is dressed like Robin. He really leads into this shit. How Batman's cape, like when he jumps, his cape like all flowing and shit. Black Panther had that shit also
Yeah.
where the cape just flows when he just jumps and shit like that. So they were really leaning into making them Black Batman around that time. They kind of, I don't say they got away from it, but you could tell where the influences were at the time. So, yeah, I think we've talked enough about Black Panther. I know people are upset we didn't talk about the movie, whoever's listening to this, but you've seen the movie. There's like 50 million reviews about the movies, good or bad or whatever. We've done 50 million reviews, good or bad, about the movies. That's why we didn't talk about the shit. We wanted to get into the comics, talk about a book that nobody's ever talked about before. So, yeah, if you listen this long, definitely like, share, and subscribe. We have other podcasts. We have Eli, hit them with it. What all 50 million podcasts you have?
Just Geek Savs, Riddle of Steel. And this one.
Oh, and this one. Okay.
And this one. That's all I'm doing now.
Cool. And we also have Comic Cast. Like I said, Comic Cast has a book. Get Valiant has one. This Geeks and Comics, or a shit talk show. Okay, Boomer. Are they still doing a thing? Or they just,
I haven't seen anything.
Okay, they probably sleep.
I haven't seen anything.
No telling. Wrestling Council, they're going strong. Pocket Violence are not back. We don't even know if football's coming back. But hey, we'll see what happens from there. And not Boomer. Boogie and Adam Waiter Adams have another podcast called the Boogie and Adam Waiter's Adam Show. The Boogie and Adam Show. So they got that. Just a lot of fucking podcasts. I'm trying to do a streaming show, Eli. I saw your message the other day. You caught me on the worst streaming day. They put me on a bad mission where I completely forgot everything that happened. That's why I sucked at. That's what I always have. When nobody looks at you, you're doing.
I forgot about that.
I know. When nobody's looking, you do fucking 60, 70 hit combos. When somebody's looking at you, then you fucking up and keep dying over and over again. That's how it happens every fucking time.
That's what I saw. I scrolled down just in time to see you die as Batman. And I saw the level up. You got level up, dude.
That's how it always happens, but I hate that shit. So, yeah. Eli, this is episode 149.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
So next episode is 150. We got to do something. We got to celebrate something. Blow candles, cake or something.
Order a pizza?
Or something. Shit, I don't know.
Should we have Gomer on, and should we get to see if motherfuckers want to come on and shit or something?
Okay, Cliff with a fish fry or something. I don't know, something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll do something. We'll hash this thing out. So, yeah. Definitely full with us next week. Next week's gonna be a big 150 when we're gonna blow this bad boy up and kind of go from there. I may fool around with this thing. Don't worry, I have the technical difficulties all ironed out by then. We had some issues this time, but we're gonna be good next time. So until then, this is Leroy.
This is Eli.
We'll talk to you guys next week. Same bullet time, same bullet channel.